talk briefly about the memo. The memo is going to be released this afternoon, I guess. I'm not sure at what time.
Correct, yeah. Well, I mean, the Washington Examiner and Fox News already have.
I think it's already released.
It's been released?
It's been released.
Yeah, it's been released, yeah.
Oh, and, okay, so now that it's been released.
It's like the Pentagon Papers for dumb people.
What do we know? I mean, what does it say?
Well,
has somebody read this?
We know that the president was at. It was the Washington Examiner and Fox News got a hold of it before anybody else did. Somehow, it's surprising. Byron, you were getting a breakdown of it.
Oh, you get whatever's going on. You gotta just hold the phone in one place, or the satellite is gonna stop.
Is that working?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's good right there.
Okay, I'm sorry. So the Washington Times, and the Fox News got it already. In any, the thrust of it is that that they went on a FISA order and the Steele dossier in getting the FISA order to follow Carter Page. Carter Page, it should be known also, in 2013, before Donald Trump was even a candidate for president, had a surveillance order on him as well. And the question is whether or not that the Steele dossier was something to have been relied upon because of the way that it was funded. The president was asked in the Oval Office today whether or not, or wherever he was today, I shouldn't say, I don't know if it was the Oval Office or if he's in West Virginia, I just don't know. He was asked whether or not he has confidence in Rod Rosenstein, the deputy AG, and he said, we'll let you figure that out, which wasn't a nod of approval at all. I think the big story out of this might be that there's no story. If there's no there, then it hurts the Republicans. But it's obviously it's too early.
I mean, I'm just amazed that the focus of this memo is about Carter Page. I mean, it's just sort of like
right.
it's. I mean,
it's Carter Page as the target of an investigation or surveillance, because he was a Trump lackey, because of the Steele dossier, which they say was funded by the Clintons. So there's a trail that's being woven there, and the Steele dossier, to say that it was directly funded by the Clintons is totally off base, so that's what they're trying to do, is trying to muddy the water. They're trying to get the Mueller investigation to be less popular among the American people than it already is. And as much as they can do that, it gives him reason to sort of, either go after Mueller, get rid of Mueller, or at least Republicans on the Hill to say this is a witch hunt.
It's just amazing to me, because you do have Carter Page is a guy who was investigated before anybody contemplated Donald Trump running, or at least, in any serious fashion. You also don't want Carter Page in the news much. Because
Why? I don't get that. He's very effective on television. What are you talking about?
I mean, well, let me ask you this. I mean, if this is the dud that it appears to be, like if Devin Nunes really just sort of built this up and there's nothing there, what can you do? You know anything about Devin Nunes that would explain, like, what is he doing? Like, why is this guy...
nobody, other than he's given Trump cover, that he was part of the transition team, that he was one of John Boehner's favorite up-and-comers, which is why a lot of Republicans were surprised how quickly he adhered himself to Trump, because Boehner didn't say a lot of great things about Trump. I don't know enough about Devin Nunes that would make him, other than the notion that he wanted to reestablish himself at the Intelligence Committee after he was, I guess, I don't know what the best way to describe it was. He had a comeuppance as chair of the Intelligence Committee last year. I think that, this is totally politically motivated to cover the White House. He decided that he wanted to be that person on Capitol Hill for the president before the president took the oath, and he thought that was his opportunity. And, if there's nothing there, it's going to be, this could have repercussions among the Republican caucus. So in the House.
I mean, it's I hope that everybody who voted in favor of releasing this memo is basically just I don't the idea of like them getting embarrassed or shamed, but just hassled. You know, that's basically what I think is really the currency here. It's just how many questions am I going to have to answer that I don't have an answer for?
But isn't this the same?
Well, that's it. You know, he's going to have to answer them now. He's going to be out there, and he's not going to have the answers for them. The other thing is, it's so convoluted, this thing. I don't know what kind of resonance it has with people. But you know, the crowd that I was watching the State of the Union with, you know, they love the catchphrases. They say "release the memo." They didn't get it. They say Benghazi still. You know, so if they have these catchphrases that to them mean something, but they can't describe exactly what they mean. And maybe that's all he needs. But the American people aren't going to understand the Steele dossier. And, you know, I'm not demeaning them, but who has the time to look into what the Steele dossier and who funded it, and what Fusion GPS is? And I mean, we do that for a living, but not everybody does. But if you put a cloud of doubt over Robert Mueller, maybe that's enough.
I will say this.
There are people. I think that's a good point that I was trying to make, that in that room in Florida, this is going to have a ton of, you know, resonance. But
well, yes,
obviously,
but
I don't really think outside of it, especially
that's the
because
thing.
There's nothing to it.
Well, that's the thing is that, but do those people in that room need anything more to be aligned with them?
I think they need the constant. I think it's almost like the research on why we check our iPhones all the time. They keep getting some type of dopamine hit, a fresh outrage.
Okay, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. The best case scenario for this stuff is that they're maintaining the current addicts and giving them sort of like some Soylent Green so that their motors still run and their metabolism still goes at the same pitch. But it's coming at the expense, I think, of just about everything else. I mean, and so the
but that is how we won, right?
Well, yes,
to some extent.
Yes. I mean, but at one point you start burning your own, you know, muscle and sinew as opposed to
getting high on your own supply.
Exactly. But and let me just take some exception with your hesitation to deride the American people. I think if there's anything that this era has told us is that I think there's a certain amount of derision that we need for this country that is deserving. I mean, it's not just a question of. I mean, the only thing I can think about as people are cheering for release the memo and clearly have no idea what it is. And nobody has any idea what it was until like a couple hours ago. The only thing I can think of is like, it is almost, I feel a certain amount of remorse that I haven't made the effort to exploit these people financially with like some type of release the memo tchotchkes or, Benghazi baseball caps. I mean, because I'm on Donald Trump's email list and I'm getting, somebody signed me up as cuck. So I get these emails that always start with like, cuck, this is a great opportunity for you to buy like a MAGA hat. Or cuck, you're never going to believe.
There's always going to be another memo. Don't worry.
I mean.
Don't worry, Jew boy.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right, and maybe I was being too kind, but I don't like, to say that people wouldn't understand it because I'm not, that much smarter than a lot of people, and I kind of get it now. But it's just that people don't take the time to look at this stuff, and we do. And the tribalism dictates that they don't know anymore. All you have to do is say, I'm in.
I'm not as concerned about people not taking the time to look into this stuff because they don't have it. I'm concerned about people being as fervent about things that they know nothing about. That's the problem.
And as the allegiance, the blind allegiance, is really the most disturbing part of it. At the State of the Union, I asked one woman. I said, "Is there anything that Donald Trump can say tonight?" This is before the speech, which will cause you to lose your support for him. Anything in the world. I let her say anything. She said, no, there's nothing you could do or say.
Black people are human beings, and we should respect them.
Right. So I think there's an element of that, too, that when you get something that's good for your team, even if you don't know what it is, great.
Well,
Mexicans aren't rapists.
Michael Shure.
Spitballing.
People should check you out on I-24. You can find it online. Just Google I-24, and you'll find it. And, of course, I think everybody knows where the TYT is.
That's right.
No, I don't know what that's from. Michael Shure, always a pleasure. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.